from the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com. You're listening to the Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
Alrighty, it's the Bryan Vinny Show with Craig, June 5, 2018, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. We got Retro Raw and Nitro to talk about here today, as always. And also, as you can see, actually maybe we saw on Sunday, got a new studio set up here, we got new lighting, we got new cameras, we've got a new computer coming. So, for today, we're using an old computer. And so when you hear that whirring throughout the show, kind of like when Granny's, that weird-ass clicking.
Hopefully this will be not quite as distracting.
I thought that was a clock.
It's a nice, soft, white noise this time.
Sure, so we'll handle that problem by Thursday, hopefully. So if you're not yet a subscriber to video.f4wonline.com, no better time. We've gone from 720 to 1080p.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so significant improvement in the video quality. We've got... Is that it? What else am I forgetting, Tony? Is that all the good stuff we got?
And hopefully when I learn how to, some awesome graphics.
Oh, that's right, yeah. We got graphics coming, too.
Ooh.
So, yeah, big
Cutting
improvements
edge
coming,
in
yeah.
2018, on-screen graphics.
We even have product placement.
Well, of course, we had that last time. It was just over there.
I see.
I moved everything. It's very hard to move it so it could be seen behind you, Craig. Let me tell you. That was a battle.
It's over there.
Yeah. So anyway, we got that going. And what's with the shirt, Vinny?
We got a new shirt.
That's now being sold?
Is on your site.
Really?
Yes, available for sale. Shoot Battle Royal winner. Commemorating my victory in a Shoot Battle Royal.
That is incredible.
Sorry?
It's got your name on the back?
It is not. I figure I may not be the only one. As far as I
there
know.
could be other people, Craig.
Yeah.
So if you, like myself, have won a Shoot Battle Royal, you can get your own T-shirt at what's the site, Brian?
F4wonline.com/shirts.
There you go.
Way easier.
Available in all sorts of sizes. So buy one for your friends, and then go out and win Battle Royals. And then if you're wearing one and someone challenges you to defend your Shoot Battle Royal victory, do what I do and retire.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Sound advice.
Yeah, if you click on any story on the front page, it's not on the actual front page, but if you click on like the XFL story here, Oliver Luck named as XFL commissioner and CEO.
That is big news.
Is it big news?
It actually is big news.
Well, tell us about it, Vinny. What does this mean?
Oliver Luck is best known now as the father of the Indianapolis Colts quarterback, but he's been a big name, and he had his own playing career long ago and has been active as a college coach and an NFL figure. He's a big name in football. So they've spent some money to get him, and we'll see. There's two minor league American football leagues starting here in the next couple of years, so we'll see where it goes, but it's a big deal.
Hey, I hate to interrupt the show, but first off, as Vinny was explaining that, like I was saying, if you click on any story, then in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link to the T-shirts. If you can't remember, f4wonline.com/T-shirts. And Tony, mine's way brighter than his light. Let's try this again. Like mine's got they're all lit up. His only half of them are lit.
That's actually true, and I look at it, he's right.
Keep going and I'll fix it.
All right.
Brian's basically just getting burned as we speak, and he doesn't want to be the only one.
I'm getting tan for the Rock and Roll Express match.
Well, there you go. So you need the extra light.
Yeah.
I will not be wrestling the greatest tag team of all time. I don't need it.
Nah, mine's still way brighter than his.
I didn't touch it.
Oh, that might be why. See, if you subscribe, you can...
Oh, wait.
There we
Wow.
go.
God.
Oh,
My God.
now we're talking.
It's the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, now his is brighter than mine.
It's like the Gestapo. We want answers!
Yeah, there's kind of excitement you get here at video.f4w. The temperature just went up 10 degrees.
Thanks, Brian.
I may regret this by the end of the show. Have you ever applied powder?
To where?
Because we're going to have to get ready to do it here after a while.
Internal or external?
Because it's fucking going to be hot in this here room.
I've taken a powder.
Dude, I'm sweating already. Hey, I got a shirt too.
You do?
Yeah, chopping block.
after you buy the Shoot Battle Royal winner shirt, you should buy a chopping block shirt.
Yeah, we're going to have a new Chop and Roll Express shirt coming. Maybe a few of them. Got a buddy working on one, and I have a design.
I do now.
But I'm going to have to sketch it out to...
Oh, that's be good.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I'll pay you $50 cash right now for the sketch.
Yes.
The sketch? I'll draw the sketch.
I don't have $50. But.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get going on the show here.
Okay. Wow, these shows. WCW Monday Nitro number 194, June 7th, 1999. Everything we are about to say is true, and actually aired on a nationally broadcast cable television show, primetime.
That's a good disclaimer, actually.
Yeah, I'm not bullshitting you. This happened.
I found the show to be kind of boring, but it wasn't like a horrible show. It was just like a really weird, kind of boring
hour
show.
was really boring.
It's begging
Yeah.
for a finish.
You know.
Yeah.
So
It's better than Raw.
Raw
I
was-
will actually say that this was a better show than Raw.
Well, let's get into these. A long white limousine arrived at the building. Randy Savage and his women stepped out, and they ordered the chauffeur to take a bucket out of the trunk and remove the lid. And then multi-time world champion, Hall of Fame wrestler Macho Man Randy Savage picked up a bucket of poop and carried it into the building.
Factual.
He's wearing a pink feathered boa. He thinks he's Jesse Ventura now.
It's more of
guess,
a
'cause
Because he
jacket.
just kind of won the... I think it was 99 that he won the
It must
governorship.
be because he's at SummerSlam that year.
Yeah, so there you go.
Hack versus Prince Iaukea.
I should know, by the way, that Randy Savage has this bucket of sewage, and he's walking through the backstage area, and he's yelling at everybody and trying to have him get out of his way.
I would.
Like they needed to be told to get out of his way. So there's a group of guys standing around, and Randy Savage walks by this group of guys, and he shoves some geek in the back. Just some random geek backstage. This man no-sold the Macho Man Randy Savage. He didn't go stumbling forward. He didn't turn around. He just kept talking to his buddies. I howled. That was one of the first highlights of the show here. And then a lowlight.
Hack versus Prince Iaukea.
Yeah.
Hack comes out smoking a cigarette, and everyone working for the company is horrified.
Yeah.
Did he not smoke before?
Not on Nitro, I don't think.
But Big Show did.
Well, the bigger issue, Craig,
True,
is that
yeah.
it's okay to smoke. You just can't smoke during a match.
Shivani and Bishop
That's
are on
literally what
commentary.
they said.
Yeah, it's against corporate policy. This is banned, and everyone knows it. And all I can think is he's standing up to authority. They're trying to make Hack Steve Austin.
Sure.
Then I figured, well, Steve
But
Austin.
you're wrong.
Steve Austin stole the beer drinking gimmick from Sandman, so why not?
Yeah.
But Vinny, you're wrong. Hack was supposed to be a heel, even though he would not blow out his cigarette.
So-
And Eric Bischoff is supposed to be a babyface.
Right.
I'll take your word for it. I was confused because I know they've been trying to have Bischoff be a babyface lately, but he came off as the overbearing dickhead boss.
Yes.
And Hack came off.
Absolutely.
And Hack came off as the guy who defies authority.
Yes.
Therefore, he's a babyface.
Yes.
Well, the fucked up psychology is Hack is supposed to be a heel, and Bischoff is supposed to be a babyface, and so we're supposed to cheer for Bischoff. But instead, it was just like, look at Eric Bischoff pretending to be a fucking tough guy.
yes.
Slapping around Hack.
Think about that. The good guy is Eric Bischoff.
So J.J. Dillon comes out and says, Hack, you've gotten away with a lot of stuff, but this is where we draw the line. So for the record, you can hit a guy with a stick. You can hit a guy with a chair. You can hit a guy with a table, a trash can, that big giant surge bottle, whatever else you want.
Sewage.
Sewage. But when you smoke a cigarette and smoke it yourself, that's too far. Bischoff hits the ring, tells Hack to put a cigarette out. The fans were chanting asshole. I am not convinced they were chanting it at either one, actually. Maybe both. Assholes. So Hack blows smoke in Eric's face. Security hits the ring. Eric waves them off, but then slaps Hack in the face. Are you certain he's a good guy?
Yeah.
He slaps Hack in the face, and then security tackles Hack. Bischoff takes a cigarette away and orders the match to start.
Yes. You have to imagine that in their universe, Eric Bischoff is Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Nah,
and Hack is Vince McMahon.
closer, actually.
Yeah. That's why they went out of business, because they didn't know what they were doing.
So they're doing this match. It's as bad as you would think. My favorite part, and apparently it was a planned spot because they repeated it.
Oh, hold on, before you go any further.
Okay.
So after all that bullshit that we talked about with Eric Bischoff goes back to the booth, and you know what he says?
I forget, but
I have no authority. I just don't like smokers.
He did say that.
He had no authority to throw his weight around. but he just went up there and he slapped the talent, eviscerated them, emasculated them, made them look like a fucking idiot, and goes back to the announcer's booth just so they would get us to cheer Eric Bischoff.
So the spot I was referring to, Iaukea goes for an angle slam, and Hack, forget dead weighting, Hack drops to his ass. There's nothing else he could have done to fight this suplex more. So they start doing some stuff, and still soon there's chastity in the ring and a fire extinguisher and a table, but no smoking. That's important.
A table that was putting up a heck of a fight.
This table, bulletproof. They should have made the limo out of whatever this table was made of in hindsight. Mm-hmm. They tried several times to break it. It didn't break. And finally, Iaukea just bounced off it, laid there, and apparently said, "Pin me." And Hack pinned him. Pinned him after whipping him into a table.
Bischoff just burying Hack. Keep in mind, Hack's going to win. He's going, guy's got no wind.
He's out of shape.
And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
He's a smoker. He doesn't
You
have
idiot.
And fat. Yeah. So Brian Knobbs and Hugh Morris attack Hack, and who should run in and turn the save but Billy Kidman?
Yeah, Kidman made the save.
Are Kidman and Hack a team now? What is going on?
Yeah, just another baby face. Because Hack, Vinny, wait a second. I don't know why the fuck he came in. Now I'm baffled.
Bischoff is railing about the drunk guys at ringside spilling beer on him. This was all very, very bad.
Also, little Billy Kidman taking on Knobbs
And Hugh Morris. Yeah.
Just a note.
Fighting out of his weight division. He had a recap of the Sting, Steiners, and Tank Abbott stuff. And then a recap of Savage and his women beating up the Nash impersonator last week. And then Nash spraying sewage in Savage's limo. Bischoff lets us know, folks, the competition on the other show, the guy under the hood has the initials VM.
Yeah.
Then he says they just keep recycling the same crap over and over.
You know what's funny about it?
He's right.
He was right, but he didn't know he was right. He guessed.
Oh, really?
And so he was so happy when it turned out that he was right.
I didn't know that.
Yep, he did not know.
Damn it, I'm really sad he was right.
It would have fucking mattered.
It would have made me laugh. He also joked about a big lawsuit Vince was facing at the time, and as soon as he said that,
It was Sable.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
This was the week that she filed her, I forget what it was, like $100 million, something crazy.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fast. She was working for him weeks ago.
Well, yeah.
Regardless, as soon as he mentioned this, Heenan and Shivani, shut up.
Well, yeah.
let's stay away from that one. Speaking of things to stay away from, Lenny, Lane, and Scotty Riggs.
Remember like I've always said that all these fans want to see is wrestling?
Right.
God damn, were they determined to just prove me wrong. It's not even like they had that bad a match. Like, Lenny Lane sucks. Scotty Riggs was all right. He's actually pretty good. He's got his vision back. Now all of a sudden he's Rick the Muddle Martel.
Eyeball returned, yes.
Yeah. And they have a fucking 10-minute match.
Uh-huh.
I look at Craig. Was it 10 minutes?
It was close.
Fuck, I was right for once. They're out there for 10 fucking minutes. When's the last time Scotty Riggs was on this show?
Months.
When's the last
6
time
months
Lenny Lane
probably.
was on this show?
I don't know.
Yeah, months.
They throw these two fucking guys out here. Nobody gives a shit about them. Then they send out Lenny Lane. When's the last time Lenny Lane's been on this show?
Lodi.
Oh, yeah.
When's the last time he's been on the show?
The Flock at some
Nobody
point.
fucking knows.
Yeah.
This was just, oh my God. Riggs is Rick the Model Martel now. Riggs the Model Martel.
On that note, he's coming out with his mirror. And Eric Bischoff says, well, this is something Paul Orndorff used to do. Come on, Scotty, be original. Which would be fine, because obviously it's a geek gimmick, but hasn't Eric Bischoff been on this show for weeks telling us he personally is going to turn this show around and save it?
Right.
Yeah, now he's burying the show.
And he's burying the new gimmicks?
Fucking
If you're in
terrible.
charge, Eric, change it. If you hate this gimmick so much, give him a goddamn new one. Give him his eye patch back for all I care. Had a long, boring match. Lenny Lane's bleeding from the eye, maybe because he was wrestling with a pierced eyebrow. Don't do that, guys. Second match in the show, fans are chanting boring. Riggs wins with a fame asser. I really bad wanted to start drinking at this point.
You know, I used to have earrings, and I had like one in each ear. It did not matter. Every single match, I got them both torn out. Okay? Meanwhile, Tim Flowers had earrings all around his ear.
Yes.
Never came out.
No.
It's like,
Well, he was on
I'm doing
offense.
fucking something wrong.
Yeah, you were wrestling Tim Flowers. He'd beat you up for 20 minutes.
It wasn't with him. It was
I
just,
see.
You know, he didn't let anyone near his head. He
That's-
was a lot smarter than I gave him credit for at the time.
Indeed. Ric Flair had a meeting with Chris Benoit, tried to regain his confidence after they had
Where
a
the hell's Malenko? Did he just walk out after last week?
I don't even care at this point.
He's gone for reprogramming.
His batteries ran out.
God, he doesn't he doesn't age well.
Malenko?
Yeah.
No, his character there was none. So anyway, Flair wants Benoit on his side, and Benoit says, "I'm only here because I used to respect you." Without, what do you say? Without hesitation. Now,
Unconditional, but now it's very much conditional.
Now it's very much conditional, he says. And Flair says, "Look, all we did last week was prove that we're both great wrestlers. We should just fight alongside each other instead of against each other." He talked about the feud he had with Arn. They had to wrestle each other in Carolina, of course, but eventually they put everything back together. He begged Benoit to trust him. Benoit said he would consider it. At this point, Saturn barges in. Says, "Kanyon will be there soon with a doctor's clearance. We want a tag title rematch tonight." Flair says, "I'm sorry I can't do that. It's me and Benoit for the tag titles instead." This is news to Benoit. Saturn says, "I'll get a title match someday," and he leaves. So Benoit recalls that Page and Bigelow had laid him out last week. He wants revenge on them. He wants the tag titles. He agrees to team with Ric Flair. Savage and his women come down to the ring with a bucket of poop. Savage says he has checked every crevice and every cleavage in the building looking for Nash. Which, frankly, if you're looking for Nash, is probably a good place to start. The man in the pink feather boa said he cannot afford to look ridiculous.
It was a coat.
He runs his mouth for a while about how Nash is on his level. He claimed he had saved the bucket of poop from the limousine last week and carried it around for 7 days. Dared anyone to come down to the ring. Sting came out on stage. Sting was in a mood this week. He's just on fire. He challenges Savage tonight. Savage accepted him, threatened to dump the bucket of poop on him. Savage declares Macho Man is on Viagra and leaves.
Okay, so listen. When they did this fucking segment, it absolutely sucked. Okay, but there's a lot of segments that suck. When they did this whole goddamn segment where Savage comes out and he challenges Kevin Nash and Nash doesn't come out, and so he rants for another 6 minutes or whatever, and then they go to a commercial and they come back and out comes fucking Kevin Nash.
Yes.
Kevin Nash then calls out Savage.
Yes.
And fucking Savage comes out and we just started over. I was like, fuck you. This show fucking sucks.
It did.
And they went on and on. And Nash is like, I'll get in the ring, but you got to put down the bucket. I'm like,
Did you mention
is this
that-
a fucking playground?
Yes.
And Nash had a bag.
No, I didn't mention he brought in a stupid bag.
Matt Nash had a stupid bag with him, which he laid
Brings
on
a
chair in the
stupid
ring.
fucking bag with him.
He had a great line, though. Nash said to Savage, "I only brought one bag. You brought 3. I laughed.
I'm glad you loved it.
I like that before Savage came out, Nash is in the ring talking, and there's one guy who must have been right behind the announcers, because all he's doing is shouting and drowning out Nash saying, "You're nothing without Shawn Michaels! HBK!
Well, he's
HBK!"
not fucking wrong.
Well, I know, but
So finally this fucking bag, some contortionist come out of it. She gets the bucket, she pours it on Savage. Eric Bischoff, I want to publicly apologize to Michael Cole. Every one of the fucking WWE announcers have been forced to laugh at stupid jokes over the years. Eric Bischoff howls with fake laughter for hours. If this sucked before, he made it suck even worse.
He did.
Which is virtually impossible. Worst feud I've ever seen. They spent an hour cleaning up the ring afterwards.
yeah.
I fucking hate this show.
Before the contortionist came out, I just want to add that Nash, he had some demands. He wanted the women to hold the ropes open for him.
He just had to keep making shit up because she couldn't get out of the bag.
Yes. It was Savage, actually, who said he said Kevin Nash is a stupid person and should admit he is a monkey. Again, I'm not making that up. Randy Savage said that. So Savage called Nash a coward. He's right. He's completely right. Kevin Nash is a coward, and as we'll learn later, a fool. So, yeah. And then this whole thing went forever. They went to break. They came back. It went forever again. And then they stayed there as these guys cleaned up the ring instead of going to a commercial.
Yeah.
Like, this...
Well, they wanted to make sure that you saw them cleaning up the ring so you knew that something was in the ring.
And you could see
Because it was such a valuable, important angle.
all the janitors, you could see their faces as they smelled something quite horrible.
Fuck.
Would this have been better if
No.
Okay.
It would have been better if it was not on television.
Would it have been better if we would have known the person that was in the bag?
No.
If
Nothing
it was
would have
like
made this better.
Okay.
Nothing.
So if the contortionist's name is Susan, you're going to like it more now?
No. I mean,
Jesus could have come out of that bag. This would have sucked. Just to use a religious reference, Craig, I apologize. I'm trying to think of somebody we all knew
well, some of us.
that would have been newsworthy.
Okay. So Ric Flair and Chris Benoit versus Dallas Page and Bam Bam.
But if it was
Bigelow.
Deborah, if it was China in the bag,
I'm just saying the girl was she was nobody. She was just somebody they hired from the circus to get in a bag.
So had it been, I don't know, Juventud Guerrera,
Sure.
you would have been fine with this.
I didn't say that. I said would it have been better?
it would have been dumber.
Okay.
The fuck's Hoovy doing in a bag? I mean, he'd fit.
I'm sure he's been in the bag many times.
God, this was horrible. It's unredeemable.
So these guys are wrestling in this now brown-stained canvas, not getting sick, just completely ignoring, and I don't blame them, they're just doing some stuff. Bischoff, who again said he's going to save the show. Fans like Chris Benoit, because he's here to wrestle. He's not off making movies in Hollywood. Speaking of Hollywood, Hulk Hogan has a new movie coming out. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, in one breath. So they get the heat on Benoit. Goes on for a while, and he fights for a hot tag, and then Flair starts to leave him high and dry. And Flair backs down off the apron. He walks up the ramp. Everyone boos. Arn is bewildered. He tears his shirt off and jumps in the apron. But before we can find out whether his intentions were true, Saturn runs out instead. He jumps in the apron. Benoit tags Saturn. Saturn runs wild, and he looked awesome. Mm-hmm. God, when Saturn's good days were so good.
Except he almost killed DDP with an overhead belly-to-belly, dropping him right in his head.
That did happen.
That's more DDP's fault.
He shouldn't have been so tall.
Right.
So, speaking of killing him, he just hit Page with a DVD and pinned him. Just a hot tag, a comeback, and a finish. That was it.
So fucking ironic that 19 years ago this week, they do this finish, and on Raw the night before, Bayley played the role of Saturn, and it was ruled that, in fact, their team did not win. Because you cannot run down and replace somebody. That's not allowed. WCW, they're the new WCW Tag Team Champions. And then, first off, I'd like to add that on commentary, Eric Bischoff had a gem. He goes, man, Flair, he's dropped a lot of weight, but his upper body is bigger.
So just in the
So he
calves.
stopped doing legs. Is that what you're saying?
I guess so.
It's supposed to be like a positive here. So anyway, last week they did the storyline with Canyon, and I was piecing it all together, and I was like, God damn, this is actually a really good storyline. I like where they're going here. Mm-hmm. Fucking next week, Canyon just comes out and he joins DDP and Bigelow. They could not have fucked it up more.
He runs out, he hugs Saturn, but then drops him with the flatliner, and the beating continues. If you're there watching this match, and you're about ready to align yourself with Dallas Page and Bam Bam Bigelow anyway, maybe you run out 2 minutes earlier so they don't lose the tag titles first.
No. They had to surprise us
So there's new
by
champions.
killing this angle dead. Bullshit.
There's new champions, and the Jersey Triad are now a thing, although no one mentioned that, named them that yet. Oh, then this beatdown, by the way, you talk about the suplex. Their double team diamond cutters they were doing, I'm stunned there was not a fatality.
Gosh, that looks scary.
And speaking of stunned there's not a fatality, this I remembered. There's a lot of things in these Monday Night Wars, especially these two shows. A lot happened here. I will never forget the Falls Count Anywhere Mexican hardcore tag team match as long as I live.
Hey, this match, the actual match itself, was better than 99% of the hardcore matches we saw on Raw and Nitro during this era.
Yes.
Wasn't just a bunch of fuckers hitting each other with stuff.
Although there was that.
There was that. But like they did lucha with weapons.
Right.
Fucking great. Unless you were one of the goddamn announcers
Yeah.
who buried them
The whole time.
and mocked them and belittled them as they're outworking every other hardcore wrestler on this and the other show's roster. Why can't you go, look at what an awesome product we're delivering right here. These guys are fucking blowing out snow out of the water.
We'll talk
Instead,
about it later.
they make fun of them. Ha 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 ha. Oh, they're falling down.
They were so
That guy got hit in the head. Ha ha.
Concerned. Okay, this is a Mexican hardcore Falls Count Anywhere match. Mexican?
Yeah, Mexican.
And they laughed and laughed and laughed about that.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Dumb.
This match was great.
So among the high spots, we had a bunch of dives, of course, one of which to a guy sitting on a chair on the floor. Tornado DDT through a table on the floor. La Parka powerbombs Damien off the top rope through a table for 2. And then, I will say this, Bobby Heenan asked one good question. Why wouldn't you just stay down?
Well, before we get to the finish, because the finish was a negative, they had all of these crazy spots, including a spot where Silver King does Cyclope / Halloween, has a garbage can on his head. You ever had a garbage can on your head?
Never.
Okay, you can't see a goddamn thing. There's a fucking can on your head. He has to stand there with a can on his head and wait for, I believe it was Silver King, to do an acai moonsault. Yeah, Silver King does an acai moonsault, and he's going to land on the can, on the guy's head, who can't see him coming.
Right.
This was the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. What were they thinking here?
They were nuts.
So they do all these crazy spots, and then, like, the crowd is kind of into the high spots, but they're not that into the match. And finally, they go up top, and La Parka hits Damien with a top rope powerbomb, and he puts him through a table. And the fucking place goes crazy. Dude kicks out. Bobby Heenan's exact words were, "Take it home."
Yep.
That's what he said.
He did say that.
He goes, "Why do you kick out? Take it home." And he was fucking right.
Yeah.
Because what did they do after that? Parka goes, he puts 2 chairs out, and he power bombs the guy through 2 chairs and pins him. Now, in real life, that hurt a lot more than going off that middle rope through a table. But you know what? To the fans at home, a fucking guy landed on a goddamn chair. It was so much more cool to see the guy go through the big table off the middle rope. Why can't you just go home?
Call an audible.
Is it that hard?
Regardless, Parka powerbombed Damien onto 2 chairs. Not so much through, because they did not bend or
They
separate.
didn't move.
Nah, he just went through them.
No, he went onto them,
Yeah, and that was it.
and then he pinned him. This was very violent.
Very violent, flat finish.
A lot of
Know when to go home, everybody.
A lot of swinging weapons into the head and also throwing weapons into the head. The NWO team is backstage. Norton asks where the rest of them had been when the cat hit him with a tire iron. Why do they grab their bags and leave, he says.
Yeah, here's the key. He watched it on television.
He's the one guy.
Right.
He saw that they left after he got hit with that tire iron. These 4 fucking idiots try to claim that they didn't leave. And he keeps telling them, I watched it!
Eventually they tried to sell it as like confusion. Well, we thought you were going to Minnesota. We were going somewhere else.
Did you? This bothered me. One of them, Vincent, said, "We got a cab," and somebody else said, "We got a ride."
Yes.
And this went back and forth. We got a cab. No, we got a ride.
What do
They
you
were-
think
they
the
were
NWOB
lying.
team argues about?
They were lying. And they couldn't get their story straight because they're morons.
Do you think their actual conversations would be any more entertaining
It
than
would
that?
have been better if Vincent said, "We got a cab." The other one said, "We got a ride." And then they went back to Vincent. I mean, we got a ride. And the other one said, "We got a cab." And went back and forth. But no, it went nowhere and it was dumb.
And if Hoovy would have been in a bag,
That's right.
this would have been an even better show.
You're getting to the point where you just refuse to argue.
Yeah.
This is beneath me. Anyway.
Nothing is beneath you, Vinny, when we're reviewing this fucking show.
That's actually a fair point.
You reviewing this show is beneath you more than any argument we've ever had.
So the upshot here is Stevie Ray says they only left because they thought Norton had it handled. And I guess, I don't know if Norton believed him or not, honestly, but the cat came out. He brags about knocking Orton out with 1 kick. So it's the NWOB team. It's a bunch of geeks who all do evil things. And Cat comes out. He's feuding with them, but he's also insulting the fans. I can't keep track anymore. Let's see. Horace hits the ring. They have a match. Horace beats him up.
Horace versus Shat on television.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
That was in the earlier segment, actually.
Sucked.
Sonny
Crowbar
takes the ref. Cat hits him with a crowbar. Ref counts 3. There's a crowbar in the ring.
in the ring.
Yeah.
The ref is counting next to a fucking crowbar, and he just counts 3 like,
Actually, there was 2 crowbars he was counting.
Maybe 3.
Some fucking fan threw a crowbar into the ring, I guess. I better count the pin.
B team runs out. Cat and Sonny flee for their lives. Hey, Ernest Miller can run.
Hey,
That dude's got wheels.
I'll give this thing one positive here. Shad did his dance afterwards, and it was good. It's the only good part of this act.
As Horace is coming to, Stevie Ray promises, "Don't you worry, we'll take care of that fruit booty." Horace says, "Are we in Tampa?"
It's begun.
Stevie says, "No, we're in Pittsburgh." And somebody else says, "It's Cleveland." And Stevie says, "Don't matter." Mean Gene brings Roddy Piper out for a promo. Piper promised to make Ric Flair bleed to death at the pay-per-view.
Cool. Don't think that happened.
Then he starts burying Y2K kids who complain about Piper and Flair being in the main events. He's insulting millennials before millennials were a thing.
Yeah.
He calls out Buffy Bagwell.
Who they called, and I quote, one of the young great athletes in World Championship Wrestling.
How long have you been in the business?
Well, as it turns out, 8 years. Because Piper asked him, and he said 8 years. Piper asked, "Have you wrestled in Madison Square Garden?" Let me ask this slowly. "Have you wrestled in Madison Square Garden?" And Buff replies, "I wasn't born yet."
It's been around for a while.
Confusion reigns.
Well,
No one understands. And then Piper repeats the question, and Bagwell says, "Never."
This was dumb because
Yeah.
WCW wasn't allowed to wrestle in Madison Square Garden. Right?
That's what's dumb about it.
That's also dumb about it.
So Piper says, "Look,
How about the idea that Roddy Piper is supposed to be a babyface, right? Am I wrong?
I
think
gave up.
so.
I long ago gave
I mean,
up."
Flair's got to be a heel. So Piper's a babyface, but Bagwell's supposed to be a babyface, and Piper's out there burying him for never having wrestled in fucking Madison Square Garden, where WCW would never run a show in their lives.
Thank you.
So Piper says, "Look, you broke your neck. You fought your way back like a great athlete, and then you made a joke out of it." Brian, you're not going to find an
What do
answer.
you want?
You made a joke out of it, Piper says. "You scammed everyone. You'd do anything to get to the top." And Bagwell said, "That's right." So Piper says, "Okay, after I beat Flair at the Bash, I'm going to give you the ball." The ball, he says.
The fuck does that mean?
That's a great question in what is supposed to be a real sport.
Well, in a real sport, you would give him the fucking ball.
Not if the real sport was wrestling.
This is pro wrestling.
So he warns Buff, if you fumble the ball, it'll be right down your neck. But Buff agrees. They shake hands, and that's that. So here's my hope on how this goes down. I hope that at the pay-per-view, Buff helps Piper win, and to reward him, Piper gives Buff a literal ball. A bowling ball, a volleyball.
I
anything.
picture being that Roddy gives him a kilt and bagpipes and tries to turn him into the next Roddy Piper.
Marcus Alexander Bagpipes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
See, that was a good one.
Yeah, Craig.
Was it?
It was
Yeah.
a great idea.
Was it really?
I thought so. Then this fucking story.
Are you ready? Remember last week when I said, when X-Pac did the Bronco Buster into the chair and killed himself, and I said, "Wow, that's the dumbest wrestler I've ever seen. They sure made
Sure.
him look like an idiot."
Right.
It took 7 days to top this. Kevin Nash, in his jorts and flip-flops, is walking by a limo. When the door opens, it's Medusa, Miss Madness, and Gorgeous George, and they say, "Hey, Randy Savage isn't here. We've got champagne. Come party with us."
It's girls' night out, they say.
Girls' night out.
Hey, Randy is not here.
And Nash is skeptical. He orders them to get out so he can inspect the car and make sure Savage isn't there.
Excuse me, he said, "Can you get out so I can check the limo?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, like,
Check the limo.
did he check it?
Well, kind
He
of.
kind of looked around. He said, "Pop the trunk." And the trunk pops up, and there's no Savage in there, so he throws his bag in.
So you're telling me that when he decided to check out to see if Randy Savage was in the limo, instead of looking in the limo, he looked in the trunk.
Well, he looked at the back of the limo.
Okay.
The
So
divider.
he didn't like look in the front where you drive.
It was a poor inspection.
It was a privacy screen.
and he would pay. He would pay the price. He cannot believe a man would have the time to have a star would have the temerity to not have his own driver.
Sure. But he might get in the fucking trunk.
Possible.
Well, the same man, Brian, as these three women, Medusa called herself Sedusa, and and they asked if he could handle all three of them. A week ago, Kevin Nash sprayed these women with sewage.
Yeah.
Now he thinks they're going to give him a four-way.
Yeah.
And so he gets into the car expecting a jolly old time.
Yes, Vinny.
See how stupid we are as men?
I see how stupid he is. So he gets in the car. They slam the door. The privacy screen drops. Macho Man Randy Savage is driving. He says something about being a smartass. He zips the limo into position, parks it, goes running off, and then...
Carmen Electra fucking shows up.
I wish.
Loved her.
That's who was going to be the driver of the white limo.
Loved her.
The white Hummer
The white Hummer.
makes its debut, smashing into the limousine over and over again. And then it drives away. And I guess just to prove he was not actually literally dead, Nash punches out the window and feebly tries to get the car door open before passing out.
Yes. Carmen Electra was going to be revealed as the driver of the white Hummer.
What was their
Why?
connection?
This was a mystery for years.
Yeah.
Well, because Randy Savage is in the middle of a massive, unprecedented midlife crisis.
I see.
As he mentioned earlier, I have enough money to last me my entire life, and I have more women than anyone could use in an entire life.
Randy Savage's entire career was a midlife crisis.
And so he's going to add a fourth woman to his entourage, Carmen Electra.
Wow.
Okay.
But it never worked out, and we never officially found out. Actually, we did find out.
Like 3 years later.
Yeah, they changed the story years later, and it was like, I can't remember who it was.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But yes, who drove the white Hummer is a running joke on really almost until the company goes out of business.
Yes.
The only time it was ever funny was one guy once held up a sign saying, "I drove the white Hummer," and his buddy next to him had a sign saying, "No, I drove the white Hummer." So, anyway, Kevin Nash is the world's biggest dipshit, and he deserves to be crushed in a limousine by a white Hummer. Bobby Duncombe Jr. versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
This wasn't bad. Ray's pretty good.
Kurt Hennig comes out to do commentary. I guess Nash had a crash. That was funny. We need more heels to tell terrible jokes.
That's
and laugh,
right.
And laugh at their own jokes.
Okay, so about a year later, they revealed that the driver of the white Hummer. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Anybody like to take? You each get one guess.
I will say J.J. Dillon.
Dean Malenko. I don't know.
Kidman.
What? What's he have to do with anything?
It's a great question.
Exactly.
Oh, that's right, because he was feuding with Hogan,
Yes.
and somebody smashed Hogan with the white Hummer,
Yes.
and the door opened and Kidman popped out. And so
Yes.
he revealed, yes, I've been smashing people with white Hummers randomly for years.
Yeah.
Did you know this company's dead?
So what happened
It's
was
true.
Kidman showed up at the building. He made the save for Hack at the beginning of the show.
He went out and bought a car.
And then he got in a white Hummer
And tried to
kill the Macho Man, Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
What's the compression ratio on that bumper?
Should mention, by the way, that Kevin Nash was in the main event of the pay-per-view 6 days later, and they never revealed to us whether or not he was dead. In case you were interested in buying the show.
So on Thursday, they said nothing about Nash.
Nothing.
Wow.
So, Hennig's on commentary at ringside. Conan's doing commentary up by DJ Rand. They're going back and forth. And Conan and Ray had come out wearing gas masks just to look cool.
Is that what it did?
Well, that's the idea. And Hennig says, I guess you guys are wearing gas masks because you stink. And Conan says something like, I know you are, but what am I? He says, you stink too. To which Kurt replies, no, I don't. I'm the best. I like Kurt in this match. He's talking about the Rough Rider, where Ray throws his crotch in your face. Moves like that have no place in wrestling. And then Ray hit it, and Kurt was angry, hits the ring for the DQ.
Stupid.
Wrestling was... Brian is right. The wrestling was fun until that dumb finish. And then Conan chases the Cowboys away. Had a commercial for WCW.com.
Oh, man, I howled.
It's got links. They replayed Nash getting crashed. Here's where I just went off on how horny and stupid he must have been to fall for this. Also,
Yeah.
did nobody think about this storyline but beyond just saying, hey, we've got poop and car wrecks, it'll be cool? Is that what...
I know it's $50,000 to destroy that limo.
Jeez.
Steiner's came out for a promo. Scott Steiner said, and I quote, all my hooches have a space to fill. And they all tell me I'm the big thrill. So believe me, when I'm between the sheets and I'm, again, quote, pushing their pink,
I was not paying attention.
there isn't a freak that'd ever think I was just an ordinary man. They'll know I'm Superman. That made TV.
You know what's funny is you recapping it and stumbling all over yourself was extremely accurate.
It's a Scott Steiner promo.
Yeah.
He's also a mushmouth.
If there was
By the way, I did some math. I just want to mention this very quickly. That, and it's math, and it's me, so it's not entirely accurate.
Which is also Scott Steiner, by the way.
By my calculations here, WCW would have needed to sell 4,166 pay-per-views solely to pay for the limo they destroyed to get you to want to see Kevin Nash defend his title against a Macho Man Randy Savage. Not a fucking chance.
Rick runs his mouth, says they're the best team of all time. He finds Sting in the dog pound, he'll take him out.
There was a gigantic steroid sign right there in the background.
Yeah.
Nobody confiscated it. I said this last week. I've said it for many weeks. It's true. Rick Steiner, very, very underrated promo here. He was not a great promo, but he came off as like a legit, scary fucking badass. Steiner came off as a guy who was playing a crazy guy.
Yeah.
Scott. Rick came off as he's going to kill you.
And not think twice about it.
He's unstable.
Scott might kill you, but he'd rather just talk about his biceps and bang women.
Sure.
Rick Steiner would just kill you.
And
not think twice.
pink.
And pushing pink. We had a recap of a contortionist coming out of a bag and pouring a bucket of poop on Randy Savage. Disco Inferno came out for a promo. Says, Bagwell, you already dropped the ball. You should have told Piper he stunk. He challenged Buff to come prove he was the man. I was certain that on this impromptu challenge, Buff would come out in his gear all oiled up and ready to go. But they actually had him in street clothes for this impromptu match.
Yeah. Save the show.
No.
It's like Hoovy being in a bag. Because he was in his goddamn street clothes, that made this whole thing better.
So, Disco had made fun of Buff for getting kicked out of the Wolfpack, to which Buff's reply was, yeah, I was, but you were never even in it.
Wasn't he?
He thought he was.
I could have sworn that eventually, he was. They played the music and everything.
No, but that's a
Why
poor
is he
comeback.
not now? What happened? What did we miss?
It just dissolved. It just stopped being a thing.
Yeah, this show sucks.
So, it had a very basic match. Nobody cared about it. Went through a break. Got into Buff's comeback a bit. He won with a blockbuster, but if we're being honest, this is a match for a guy who they said earlier was going to get the ball. And he did not look like a guy who deserved to get the ball here.
No.
Randy Savage versus Sting. The bell rings. Gorgeous George jumps right on Sting's back. Ref doesn't care. The other women interfering on the floor. Crowds demanding puppies.
I don't know if Shivani realized what he said, but he goes, Randy Savage, after tonight, clearly in the driver's seat Sunday.
That's punny.
That was a good one. I liked it.
So we got powder in Sting's eyes. Miss Manis goes for a top rope Rana. Sting shoves her down. Savage pile drives the ref. Another ref calls to the bell. Everyone boos. So Sting goes for a Stinger Splash on Savage, but Savage pulls Medusa in the way. So she takes the bullet. So now Sting turns around, and Savage is in the corner, and George is basically telling him to stop, but Sting charges like a lunatic anyway, and Savage pushes George out of the way.
Yeah.
So now we have a pecking order in his a harem. He prefers George to Medusa.
Well, goddamn, I could have told you that.
Yeah. So
He gave her Lanny Poffo's name.
He was Gorgeous George at one point?
Well, the Savage bought the rights to the Gorgeous George gimmick, and it was going to be for Lanny.
I see.
Then he found a super hot blonde,
yeah.
and he was like, fuck. Just sit home and get paid, Lanny.
Yeah.
I'm sure Lanny was like, okay.
So Steiner's run out and attacks Sting. Lex Luger runs out to make a save with a baseball bat. This is the final segment on the go-home show for the Great American Bash, and the announcers are still questioning whether the World Heavyweight Champion will be able to make it to the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shall I hit your music, Vinny?
May as well. We're here.
All right, well, here we go.
The finishes on this show were pin in a hardcore match, clean pin by a guy who was not supposed to be in the match, pin in a Falls Count Anywhere Mexican hardcore match, pin after a crowbar shot, DQ due to run-in, clean pin, and DQ due to referee attack.
Better than Raw. This fucking Raw. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna do a quick review right here. They spent 40 fucking minutes, if you count commercials, talking.
Yeah.
With a Vince McMahon revealed as the higher power. Steve Austin is now the CEO. Vince and Lynn are out there. The whole bullshit. Okay. In that 40 fucking minutes, Steve Austin signs a bunch of matches. The audience is all excited. Every fucking one of these matches was a useless pile of shit. Am I wrong?
No.
One nothing happening bullshit match and finish after another. And like, by about an hour and a half in, I was so done with this show. Like, shit was happening. I totally wasn't paying attention. Like yeah, it's a garage.
Okay.
They're absolutely, there's nothing in the ring that you should ever care about on WWE.
No.
Like, they have conditioned you that nothing fucking matters. Mm-hmm. And I'm just watching this show, and they're winning. They're kicking WCW's ass. Part of it's because WCW sucked. But I swear to God,
we went over here.
If Vince McMahon, I just thought about this on the show. If Vince had not screwed Brett, and he never became a TV character, and somehow they did not stumble upon Steve Austin and The Rock, we may be watching Nitro today.
Yeah.
This fucking show is so horrible. It's inconceivably bad. It's just, I can't even... Why do fans get excited when they announce matches?
That's a good question.
Why? Are you dumb? Are you fucking stupid? You know that every single match that they announce is going to have a bullshit finish and it's going to be 2 minutes long. Or no finish. Why the fuck do you get excited? I don't get it. Were fans that fucking dumb that they thought, man, we're going to see a real UFC-style fight between Vince and Ken Shamrock. Man, we're going to see a finish in that Undertaker-Big Show match. Oh, man, wait till we get this bikini contest between Deborah and Nicole. Or Triple H versus Rock in a fucking cast match? A cast match? Kane and X-Pac versus Shane? Acolytes? They're just bullshit up and down the show. Why? How fucking dumb were you fucking idiots? You bought that you were going to get matches. They do this every fucking week. Sweating like a fucking hog right now. This show was just wretched. Fucking wretched. Vince McMahon is the fucking higher power. Like, we've been teasing it for months. Like, we didn't want to spoil it from fucking 19 years ago. This fucking guy's a higher power. Dude! Just fucking terrible. Irredeemable.
We need to get you a blood pressure cuff.
It's fine.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Maybe not at this exact moment. I probably look like Dick Murdoch right now.
Well, you have.
God damn. Fuck this show.
Well, I guess we'll take it from the top then.
Do we have to?
So we should all go into this review with an open mind. WWF Retro... Brian's not going into this with an open mind. Brian's mind is made up. Oh, God. Retro Raw number 315, also June 7th, 1999. So they had this show called Heat in between Raws, and they wanted Steve Austin to be on it, but of course Austin saw the higher power last week, but he couldn't reveal it on Heat because they had to do the reveal tonight, so they just had Austin running around beating people up. That actually sounds awesome. So Vince comes out in his fighting gear. I hope you like the words greater power, everyone. Because Vince was talking, like every time he said those words, he got an extra million. He claimed Undertaker had mentioned the greater power 3 months ago. He'd like to meet
He did?
That's what he said.
Where the fuck was I?
I don't know. I thought we watched these shows. He said he'd like to meet the greater power, but then again, perhaps he already has met the greater power. The greater power might be a bunch of people. The greater power might be Jake the Snake Roberts. It might be a McMahon family member.
Might be Shawn Michaels. If only.
Regardless, I am going to go no holds barred with the greater power here tonight in Boston. He challenges Shane, teasing he may in fact be the greater power, to a no-holds-barred match tonight. He puts up his half of the company against Shane's winner-take-all. Shane comes out. He accepts Vincent's challenge. Says Taker will reveal the greater power soon. By the time Vince gets to the back, in fact. Convenient. Steve Austin is shown talking to somebody in a limousine. Hopefully there are no white Hummers around. Corporate Ministry came out for a promo. Taker calls him the higher power. And the greater power came out. So we're watching this 19 years later. And we've talked about how there's, in hindsight, there's some of this stuff with, you understood why Shane was disappointed in his father and angry at his family and wanted to lash out and do stuff. And I knew the end was coming. I knew the end would ruin everything. When you're actually watching it happen 19 years later, it's like a train wreck and you just can't stop it. Like you want to wave your hands and say, guys, this is going to be awful. Don't do this. But they did. So the greater power comes out. And he gets in the ring, grabs a mic. First we hear Shane's voice saying people should have believed he was not the greater power. And then Shane comes out on stage. It was a swerve. He demands Vince come out, so Vince can be the one to reveal the greater power to the world. Vince appears on the big screen for swerve number 2. And Vince says, I'm close enough right now, but the game is over. This evil SOB should show his face. And then we've all seen the clip 20 million times. It was me. It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
By the way, this is all taking place, and Undertaker has the World Championship belt.
Yeah.
He's a champion.
I know. Why was he trying to screw Austin?
Well,
he already had the belt.
Well, I know the screwing was when Austin lost the belt. This whole rigmarole was done to throw Austin off his game so Undertaker could beat him. And after he beat him, probably because Owen Hart died, they waited a couple weeks to do the big reveal.
I see.
So he runs his mouth for a while. He thanks Shane, thanks Taker, thanks the rest of the ministry, and then Stephanie and Linda appear on stage looking very disappointed. And then it was time for acting.
Oh, man, Stephanie. Dad, Shane, how could you be so cruel to me?
Can you imagine if this was the Stephanie doing Undercover Boss? Everyone would say, hey, Steph, how you doing?
Only to be outshadowed by Linda's acting.
Are we certain Linda McMahon is an actual human?
No, she's a robot.
And not
Actually,
a primitive automaton?
listen, you
Got out of
guys,
the same
listen.
factory as Demon Malenko.
Listen to me.
No, Dee's way more colorful.
If we keep watching Raw, this was one of her better performances.
Really?
Yeah! Yeah, I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
So the future head of the United States Small Business Administration says she wants to talk business.
Yeah.
Says it's not true that Vince and Shane each own 50% of the company. In fact, each of them owns 1/4 of the company. Talks about growing the company, a meeting of the board of directors. She says what this office needs is some cut-off jean shorts, profanity, and drinking on the job.
I mean, she was no good, don't get me wrong. But she's been significantly worse than this.
She explains she has stepped down as CEO of the company, but first she named her own successor who is now in charge, and Steve Austin comes out.
Clearly, they had not gone public yet.
No. So
basically, I just want to clear one thing up. As much as I fucking hated this show, I will defend one thing. Okay?
Vince and Shane.
No. So everybody's like, so Vince revealed himself 5 minutes ago. But Linda, in the morning, met with the board of directors and did all of this.
Because Austin knew.
Exactly. But like back then, a lot of people couldn't figure this out.
I see.
But yes, Austin saw his face last week.
He had 7 days to take a plane.
So he went and told on him, told Linda, and then she believed Steve, I might add.
Yes.
She believed him, and she gave him not only her shares, but Stephanie's.
So they claim...
You know what shares are in a company?
Yeah.
She gave away half of the family fortune
Yes.
to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Their father's most hated enemy.
Because her dad was running around dressed like a fucking monk.
That happened.
Well, and they tortured Stephanie with.
Well, they
mental
scared
anguish
her.
and
They kidnapped
they
her
for
for a week.
her and
Well,
tried
they
to crucify
I
her.
know, but
And other women.
She was just scared. They didn't actually violate her, to the best of our knowledge.
They teased it.
Well, sure.
They degraded her. They insulted her.
I mean, she wasn't happy with it.
No.
It was an asshole thing to do.
So I do want to say that the positive I got out of this was, I will admit, Vince and Shane realizing their whole plan, their 3-month diabolical plot had been foiled, and standing there gobsmacked in despair.
Mouth agape.
You're not wrong, Vinny, but the very greatest Vince McMahon reaction I've ever seen in my whole entire life was actually when Test
Yes.
asked Stephanie out on a date.
We'll get to that.
It was the greatest. There is no Steve Austin rib on Vince on television. There is no stunner, reveal. There is nothing that has ever happened to Vince McMahon that I've ever seen on
No
television
Kiss My Ass
yet
Club.
that has gotten a reaction like when fucking Test asked Stephanie McMahon out on a date. He died. He actually died on television and came back to life. That made the show worthwhile.
I also like, by the way, Shane owns 25%. Shane owns a quarter of the company. Vince owns a quarter of the company. Steph and Linda each own a quarter of the company. So they give Austin their half, the women do, and somehow Austin's half outrules Vince and Shane's half.
Well, they only have a quarter.
But there's each.
Yeah, I guess they have to team up
They're
or
the
something.
majority owner.
Apparently not, because apparently they cannot gang up and overrule Austin. What Austin says goes.
Okay.
Yeah, the storyline sucks.
It does.
I mean, the least of our problems is that it's 50-50.
So Austin starts booking matches. He says, I will get that title back, but not right now. For now, I'm booking myself against Vince and Shane in a handicap match at King of the Ring. Vince is completely fine with this. Austin books Shane versus X-Pac and Kane in a handicap match for tonight. He says, Ken Shamrock, Test, and Big Show can wrestle anyone they want. Mick Foley is not there, but since Hunter and Chyna like to cripple people, he'll book Hunter versus Rock in a cast match tonight with with Rock's broken arm and Hunter's perfectly healthy leg both in casts.
A cast match.
This went on and on and on.
45 minutes of fucking television talking.
The only thing I can say is that I think in part they realized, I mean, the reveal's done. Vince is the greater power. This storyline is now dead. There's nothing else to do with it. Let's now immediately, in the same segment, move on to the Austin as CEO storyline. Let's put this one to bed and just move forward. Austin meets with Linda and Steph backstage. They gave him beer. He shared.
I don't know how the hell they afforded it. They just gave away all of their money.
Gangrel
He should be buying them fucking beer.
and Edge versus the Acolytes. And clips of the Acolytes getting a bloodbath on Heat. They beat the holy hell out of Edge for a while.
Let me tell you, this is I don't want to glorify this spot because Gangrel almost died, okay? But Gangrel's in there making a hot tag, and him and Farouk just fuck up this spot.
Mm-hmm.
Farouk's trying to give him a clothesline, and Gangrel falls down long before his arm even got there. Bradshaw sees this. He fucking clotheslined Gangrel so fucking hard. This was Concussion City. He almost killed this fucking guy. And that was the finish.
They actually fucked it up at least twice before taking it home, so Bradshaw's probably good and pissed.
Bradshaw's like, you ain't ducking this one.
Not to be outdone, Farouk just drove Christian through the mat with a powerbomb. Just killed him.
But hey, clean pin. And then the Brood was out, or the Hardys were out there, and they brawled with the Brood, so that's still going on. The three Union dudes come out for a promo. And
God, did they look like fucking geeks today.
Vince and Shane are sulking backstage. Show gives a special thanks to Steve Austin, who he calls the toughest CEO I've ever worked for. And you know he was made to say that. And I bet it probably did bother Eric when he said that. So he gets to choose his opponent, and he wants the Undertaker tonight.
Vince is aghast.
Promises to chokeslam him to hell and win the WWF title. Shamrock, whose nose looked freshly broken. First he tells Foley to get well soon. And he says, I was scheduled tonight for a Lion's Den match with Jeff Jarrett. But that match is off. I'm canceling it. I am challenging the higher power himself, Vince McMahon. Vince was not thrilled with that either.
Dude, this was the best promo I've ever seen out of Ken Shamrock. He's on fucking fire. He goes, all of this shit that I did for you, all of your other guys walked out on you. I stood by you.
Vince cried.
I was the one that went after Stephanie. I put myself and my life on the line out there. And now it's all some big fucking ruse. I'm going to kick your ass in that Lion's Den cage tonight. It's fucking great. And what a match we got.
And Test goes last. And Test confirms, first of all, Steve Austin said I can get a matchup with whomever I want, right? And so he called out Stephanie McMahon. Vince is appalled. Some damn wrestler?
What is this? Some damn wrestler?
His worst fears coming true. So Test gets down on one knee and asks Stephanie on a date.
This right here was the beginning.
Yeah, this is important.
This is the beginning of the rest of WWE history.
Because Test and Stephanie had a fake relationship.
Yep.
Leading to a fake wedding.
Yep.
Which was interrupted by Triple H and another fake wedding.
Yep.
And he and Steph had a fake relationship that turned into a real relationship and changed everything.
Yeah.
It's
Now
all started right here.
He's next in command.
Yes.
All because of this.
The heir to the throne. So, yes, here was where Vince had his tantrum. Vince and Shane were both great, actually. I don't know if they planned it, but they're both kind of sitting there leaning forward. And as soon as Test says, "Will you go out with me?" Vince throws his head back, and Shane, pops up. He explodes forward. So it was opposites, going in opposite directions. It was beautiful.
I love that segment.
That was great.
I'm a fair man. Mm-hmm. That segment was fucking great. Vince was great. Shamrock was great. Even...
Test did his job.
He did his job.
Francois Petit, the masseuse,
yeah,
is backstage putting a cast on Hunter's leg.
A fucking legit plaster cast.
Apparently, yes.
So dumb.
Kane and X-Pac versus Shane McMahon. This went a minute. Pete Gas and Rodney ran in. They were wearing Mankind and Kane masks. They got beat up. They got chokeslammed and Bronco Bustered and Tombstoned. In the middle of the beating, X-Pac's music played. There was no bell to end things. I have no idea what happened to Shane.
All I know is that they actually mentioned the loser leaves town stipulation, but it's just apparently been dropped.
You didn't mention the Stooges running down to beat them up.
I did not mention that. I did write it down. I just glossed over it.
Okay.
Yeah. Michael Cole interviews Deborah. Now, she's supposed to defend the women's title against Nicole Bass tonight, but she explains, "I have 30 days in which to defend this title. Those 30 days are expired, and I don't want to defend it tonight. But I challenged Nicole Bass to a bikini contest, and if she can win this bikini contest, then she'll get a title shot next week."
And if she loses, she needs to leave me alone and not get a title shot.
Yeah. Triple H versus Rock in a cast match.
Goddamn worst fucking match they ever had together. Just
they
fucking
were literally
atrocious.
handicapped.
Yeah, it was not supposed to be a good match. It was supposed to be at least a funny match.
It wasn't.
I did laugh at Hunter climbing the steps in the cast. And he because he had this cast on, but he still insisted on doing his full entrance with the lights and the water and everything, and then gimping down to the ring. That made me laugh at least. So Rock hits him with a chair.
So they've taken the Rock and Triple H and turned it into comedy.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, Rock hits him with a chair right in front of the ref. Not a DQ. And then Taker attacks, and it is a DQ.
Yeah. Big Show makes a save.
Yeah, they're doing Taker and Rock at the...
King of the Ring.
Thank you, King of the Ring. Deborah versus Nicole Bass in a bikini contest. Jarrett and Val are out there with their respective women. Deborah insists Nicole goes first. Nicole's been doing bodybuilding for 10 years at this point, so...
She's in shape.
She's in shape, and she's comfortable in a bikini.
She poses. Deborah goes. She poses. She wins. King still fucks it up. And then Nicole tries to hit somebody with the fucking guitar.
Val was impressed by Deborah and looked ready to admit defeat. So Deborah wins. Some kind of brawl breaks out. Nicole goes to hit Jarrett with the guitar. Jarrett dodges. And Nicole hit Val with the edge of the guitar in the head really hard. And on first viewing, I thought this actually broke before it made contact.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Because Val comes up bleeding from the top of the head. So Jarrett and Deborah leave. First, Val is angry because he was hit in the head with the guitar. Sure. He says he's tired of Nicole screwing up. But before he can dump her, she says, "I'm sick of you." And she dumps him. And of course, Val can't have this. And so he follows her to the back, insisting they get back together so he can dump her.
Yeah, this, if I recall correctly, Nicole Bass filed a lawsuit against WWE.
I looked it up.
Yeah, and it was she was talking about how she got hit with a guitar, and it was supposed to be like a gimmick guitar, but it wasn't. And then meanwhile, here she is almost killing Val Venus with a guitar shot.
She also claimed that Steve Blackman had sexually harassed her.
Not Blackman. It was Brooklyn Brawler.
Ah.
Lombardi.
Lombardi. Mm-hmm.
That's 10 times as preposterous.
Well, it is. We have GTV with a hidden camera in PMS's locker room. Don't do this, everyone. This will get you in trouble. So, first of all, it was really, really quiet. I had to rewind it and crank up the volume to listen to what they were saying. So what they were doing, Terry Runnels, Jacqueline, and Ryan Shamrock, they're all walking around in towels, just because. They are going through WWF Magazine, listing who they had and had not fucked, and making fun of how small all their penises were.
Yeah. Including Marlena making fun of her own husband.
Well, yeah, because it was never revealed, but GTV was obviously supposed to be Goldust.
Yes.
So they're burying Mr. Ass and somebody else, some other unnamed guy, and then when she starts talking about Dustin's dick and it immediately fades to black, that was funny. That was honestly funny.
Last week it was GDTV.
Yes.
Now it's just GTV.
I like GD because that's goddamn TV.
Well, I think they thought it was too obvious it was Goldust if they left the D in there.
I see.
Yeah. Godfather versus Mr. Ass. Set up by Mr. Ass accidentally hitting Godfather with a chair on heat. They did 1 minute of out-of-control action. Road Dogg runs out, hits a pump handle slam on Ass, and Godfather hits a leg drop for the win. I have no idea what the point of this was.
Some very lovely ladies out this week. They
lot of them.
they all gather around the Godfather after the match, and they hug him, and they all fall down, and they start humping him.
Yes.
And then he gets up, and he grabs his Johnson and runs off. I laughed. What a fucking job.
There was 7 of them.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah. So, yeah, by the way, spoiler alert, Billy Gunn wins King of the Ring. He's here getting beat by Godfather first.
Well, he's going to need a challenger for
the
the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Cole interviews Draws and Prince Albert. They both puked.
Oh, God, stupid fucking shit.
Al Snow and Draws.
Terrible match. Here's all I wrote about it. They brawl in a bar. Al hits him with, quote, some kind of artwork, according to Jim Ross, and beats him. Nowhere near as good as that Mexican hardcore
No. God,
Falls
no.
Count Anywhere match. Fucking was terrible. Horrible.
I wrote Al hit him with something and pinned him.
It was a banister topper.
Some kind of artwork.
Yeah.
It was a banister topper.
The only thing else to
Telling
let you know here, they were brawling in the sports bar. Of
In the
arena.
sports bra,
That would be news. They were brawling in the sports bar.
every crevice of the arena.
Every cleavage, as Randy Savage has said. They were brawling in the sports bar, and they tried to do the black and white cowboy scene where you throw the guy in the bar and slide him, but they never bothered to check if it was actually slippery. So they throw Draws up there, and Al pushes him 3 inches, and pushes him 3 inches,
Well, he's all sweaty and
pushes him 3 inches, and they just give up. That's like Al Snow's entire career right there. Al Snow was so bad.
Yeah, this absolutely sucks.
couldn't have draws have oiled up or something.
Vince does a promo saying he's not afraid of Ken Shamrock. And then we get Vince McMahon versus Vince Torelli in a Lion's Den match.
Vince McMahon versus the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, in a Lion's Den UFC-style cage match. Mm-hmm. You'll never guess who won.
So
This is very famous.
So Vince comes out first, and he attempts to chain the door shut so Shamrock can't get in. So Shamrock runs out, and he kicks the door, and it opens right up, and Vince grabs the chain. Now, I assume that, like, the lock broke, or Vince...
No. Vince, you're confused. So Vince comes out first, and he locks himself in. So Ken comes out, and Ken can't figure out how to get in. There's no roof. You fucking idiot. Climb over the goddamn thing.
There's that, too.
Instead, he's outside. And so it was a plot, Vinny. Mm-hmm. When Jeff Jarrett starts coming out, then Vince unlocks the door. Ken kicks the door open. But then Jarrett whacks him with the guitar when he's right by the door, so that Ken Shamrock falls into the cage.
Yes. Right.
And Vince McMahon puts an ankle lock. I can only imagine how long it took to teach him that move. Puts him in the ankle lock, and the referee decides Ken is unconscious. And so he awards the victory to Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Vince McMahon beat Ken Shamrock in a Lion's Den match.
Yes.
It happened.
Only in WWE.
Only Vince McMahon.
Vince and Shane then jumped into a limo and drove away.
Another screw job. Got to get in that limo and flee.
So we have brackets for the King of the Ring tournament matchups at the pay-per-view. The first round of matches is Mr. Ass versus Ken Shamrock. Big Show versus Kane, Road Dogg versus China, and Hardcore Holly versus X-Pac. Undertaker versus Big Show.
That's what they came up with for the King of the Ring fucking tournament.
Who would you put in there?
Well, like stars.
Not China.
I mean, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock,
Those are bigger stars.
Mick Foley.
Those are bigger stars than anyone in
Fuck.
this tournament. Undertaker versus Big Show for the WWF title. They were in the ring for about 2 minutes, and for those 2 minutes, Undertaker bumped his ass off.
Oh, he almost killed himself.
He was flying all over the place to get the big fella over. And then most of the match was Big Show lying on the floor as Taker punched and choked him. I was trying to figure out why they were not just in the ring doing this stuff. And then I guess I figured out by the end. Because they're working on the ring, and when they get back in, Show grabs him and chokeslams him through the ring. 15 days after Owen Hart dies, they're doing crazy stunts again. The bell rings. Ministry dudes run out. They all get chokeslammed on the other side of the ring.
We are only told that Undertaker has escaped with his title.
Taker gets up. Taker gets up and walks out. He's fine.
But I mean, what was the finish? A DQ
I don't
for
know.
choke slamming a guy through a fucking ring?
But if you're going to do a chokeslam through a ring spot, shouldn't the guy at least be off the rest of the show?
Nope.
He can't stay down for 5 minutes till the credits roll?
Nope.
He got up. He was fine. This did nothing. Nothing. What a lame show.
The last word I wrote in my entire review was, whatever. So over this fucking show. It sucked. God damn, it sucked.
Well, let's hit the music and get out of here.
It lost to Nitro.
Nitro was a
At
better
least
show.
in quality,
And Nitro was built around poop.
not in ratings. All right, here we go.
The finishes on this show were clean pin, believe it or not.
I don't. Are we sure about that?
The tag match with the Acolytes.
Oh yeah, the clothesline from hell.
Yes.
You're right.
We had no finish in a handicap match. I still can't get over that. Had a DQ in a cast match due to run-in after one guy had already used a chair as a weapon. A clean finish in a bikini contest. We had a pin after interference. Pin in a bar in a hardcore match. A submission in a Lion's Den match after interference. And then in the World Championship main event, no finish due to chokeslam.
Chokeslam through the ring.
What a terrible show.
I guess the playing surface was altered. So you got to throw the whole match out.
They were out of balance.
You know what I mean? Like that famous match where the Rockers won the tag titles, but the rope broke.
So it didn't count.
So they rescinded it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the playing surface breaks, I mean, it's over.
Well, it's a safety hazard.
You know what? Going through the ring is a fucking
Really
safety
was.
hazard.
And if there's one thing we know about 1999 Raw, they cared about their wrestlers.
They cared about safety. Yes. All right, that's it, everybody. We're going to wrap it up. Don't watch Raw.
No.
Don't go back and watch this show. It was actually worse. Like, I knew that the reveal of the higher power was like dumb. So much fucking worse than I
bad.
even remembered.
It makes, not that the previous few months was any good, but it makes it even worse because now it all leads up to here.
Yeah,
Right.
This was the payoff to all of that. Where to, Stephanie? Mm-hmm. Sacrifices.
Symbols.
Vince getting his goddamn leg broken or whatever by The Undertaker. It's also ruse. Stupid. All right, we're out of here, everybody. We'll be back on Thursday with more. Make sure you check out f4wonline.com/shirts. You can grab your Chop and Block shirt, and you can grab your Shoot Battle Royal winner shirt. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I may wear that to Crown Point, Indiana.
Crown Point. I was going to say Point Blank. That's,
Crown Point.
John Cusack.
Where I'll be facing the Rock and Roll Express with Filthy Tom Lawler July 14th. And I want Ricky and Robert to know that I also was a Shoot Battle Royal winner.
If you buy a shirt, you will be.
Yeah, so check it out, everybody. And that is it from here. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.
What?